So today marks exactly 3 months since I deleted Instagram off my phone and I had a wonderful time. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, and if you're new here, I put the Prachi in Prachi and Harsh, and today I just want to share the story of what led me to wanting to delete Instagram off my phone as an influencer, as a content creator, as someone who earns her money through Instagram. What led me here, what did I learn, and what my plans are. So I want to give you a little backstory of who I am and what led me to taking this decision. On the 17th of March 2024, I was on a plane ride back from South America to India. It was a wonderful trip and it was sort of the closing chapter to 3 years of having traveled all over the world with Harsh, who is my partner, my husband, my best friend, my business partner, everything. He means the world to me. And while I was on that trip, I had a little bit of a breakdown where I didn't know what I was doing with my life. Social media had a big part to play in it. So while I was on the plane back to India, to my home, I was just like, you know what, I'm going to take a little bit of a break from social media. And my job profile is as such that I'm required to spend a lot of time on my phone, most of it on social media, on Instagram. There was no stopping me. I used to love my work so much that I was just so driven by it that I had no other sense of who I was apart from my work. So I just decided to take a little week off, and then that week turned into a month, and then that month ended up turning into 3 months, and now here I am on the 17th of June 2024, having been 90 days of social media. But before I get into that, I just want to talk a little bit about what a social media detox is and how it can help you. So if you're someone who's addicted to your phone like I was, then a social media detox or like even a digital detox will serve you well. And the rules are pretty simple. You just don't use your phone or you don't use social media for a specified amount of time. So when I was starting this, my only rule was delete Instagram and stay off of it for 1 week. Do not even peek into Harsh's phone when he's using Instagram. Do not log in from the laptop or from the computer, like just off limits. Instagram was 100% off limits for me. And it's really helpful for people like me who are just addicted to social media or addicted to their phone and cannot stay without it, like have to check it every few minutes and to see what's coming up. So what happens when you use your phone or when you use Instagram, this chemical, this neurotransmitter called dopamine is released from your brain and it floods through your body and it gives you all these happy feelings, which basically reinforces you to do that behavior and to keep doing it. And the more you do it, the more dopamine gets released in your body and the more you feel those happy feelings, and then you use your phone and then you use social media and then you get more dopamine, and it's this endless loop and it's just never ending. So I wanted to do a full detox where I wasn't getting that cheap hit of dopamine, that cheap hit of happiness. I wanted happiness through other things. Then that ended up turning into 3 months, and here I am 3 months having deleted Instagram from my phone. And here's what I can tell you. So the first thing that ended up happening was I had a buttload of free time to fill in. Because I was not spending all those hours doom scrolling on my phone, so much time just became available to me. I gotta tell you, in the initial few weeks, I was bored as hell. Like, I did not know what to do with myself. I would often find myself going to my phone and like just not having the Instagram icon to click on. So I would just click on the Gmail icon and then like refresh my Gmail feed to see if I got a new email. And that was the alternate of the cheap dopamine that I was used to getting from Instagram. Now I was getting from Gmail. And so I ended up deleting the Gmail app from my phone as well, because I was just like, I don't want to do any of this. So it took a little while, because then I used to open my phone and I didn't have anything to do, and I deleted Gmail and I deleted all these social media apps too. So my phone habit definitely reduced. Like, I'm not as attached to my phone now as I used to be 3 months ago. I can be away from my phone for the whole day and not worry about anything. And with all the free time that I did have, I found that I was called to do a bunch of different things that I always wanted to do, but I just never had the time to. And there's a little important piece that you must note, that I am a content creator and an influencer, and using social media is part of my work. I do make money out of spending time on social media. It's not the same as someone who just uses social media as a distraction from their work or as a way to stay connected to friends, because the way I was using social media was all about work and was all about growing the numbers and to making money from it. Of course, what ended up happening was we ended up declining a lot of work that came our way, because I was just not in a headspace space to take on work. So for like a good portion of these 3 months, we had no work and we made no income, and it wasn't as stressful as I thought it would be because we do have a safety net of savings that we've saved up now that we could rely on. And I do recognize the privilege that I come from, that I could just take a few months off of my work, and not everyone can do it. But if I could take 3 months off of it, then you too can. But anyway, I digress. I was telling you about all the things that happened when all this free time became available to me. So I've always had a reading habit, but now that reading habit had just sort of escalated to a point where I was in between 5 books at a time. I must have read like 30-40 books in these 3 months. That's how I spend a major amount of my time. But I also spend a lot of time learning how to cook, taking new classes and taking up new hobbies. I started exploring different ways to express my creativity. I'm a very creative person, so I channel my creativity into different ways. Cooking is one example. I started painting here and there. I started writing in my journal more. I made new friends, signed up on Bumble BFFs, and I looked for new women friends to hang out with. I actually met 4 random strangers and ended up becoming good friends with one of them. And I think the biggest change I made, get into a very different mindset when it comes to mental health and also physical health. I think I had been ignoring it for a really long time. But these last 3 months where I had no work, I was just like, okay, now is the time to focus on my health. So I took an online course in nutrition. Many of the books that I read in these last few months were about health and food and how it impacts your body and gut health and all of that. I got really interested and invested in it. I've been dealing with gut issues my whole life, and I finally found the time to address it and to visit the doctor and to get the advice that I needed and to follow the protocol that I needed to follow. Of course, it's not an overnight fix. I can't fix years of bad food habits in 3 months, but I've started and I feel really good already, and I feel really motivated to keep on this journey. I also embraced boredom. Not having anything to do but just being present in the moment made me happy, and it's still making me happy whenever I do find the time to just be with my breath and to be in the moment and to be on this chair and just feel my presence right here, right now. It does make me happy, and it does make me feel really grateful for being alive. So yeah, deleting social media led to a spiritual awakening of sorts. I also stopped caring what other people thought of me. So these last 3 months, I didn't have anybody to please, and I just stopped caring what the other people thought, and I've just started caring really deeply about what I think and what my feelings are. So now I feel like I'm at a point where I want to go back and I want to start working again and go back to social media and approach it from a very different mindset and a point of frame that now I have, because I took that break, because I was able to distance myself and look at it from a further away perspective. But of course, it's going to be very different from how I used to approach it. I'm still not downloading Instagram on my phone, but I will be using it on my husband's phone because we share the account and we share this life. So whenever I have something to say or something to post, I will be using his phone to do that, and then after I post, I will leave and I will not wait for that feedback mechanism thing to hit in. Another thing I forgot to mention is I found a new love for making YouTube videos and long form content. With Instagram, I was limited with the time limit that I had to express myself, but here I find myself talking for hours to the camera and saying things without thinking about it or writing a script down, and I feel like it flows more naturally and I'm able to express myself better here. So I'm going to continue doing that as well. But you can also follow Harsh and I on Instagram, where you can find little bite-sized snippets from our life and our relationship and whatever it is that we end up doing. So here are my tips for someone who's wanting to take a social media break and to detox and who wants to break that phone addiction. I think the first thing is to recognize you have it, that you are addicted to your phone, or you are addicted to an app, or you are addicted to getting that validation from people online. First part is just recognizing that, okay, that is unhealthy behavior and you want to change it. Unless you recognize that, no matter how many times you delete the app from your phone, you're always going to re-download it and you're always going to approach it the same way because you never recognize you have a problem. And then you'd want to schedule a time in your calendar whenever it fits your work or whenever it fits your schedule, and schedule like a weekend or a week or a month away from your phone or away from social media or whatever your rule is. And then another thing you can do is you can probably do it with a friend, or you can engage someone in doing this challenge with you so that you have accountability. All of these are just basic tips that I can give you, but honestly it has to come from within because it's never gonna happen otherwise. No one can force you to do it, and that's literally why I made it too, because I had reached my breaking point like I need to make a change or I'm not gonna be able to sustain this as a career. So that's how it led me to do it. So I hope that sort of helps you figure out a way for you to take a detox, maybe this weekend or maybe for the week or what have you, and I hope that helps. And by far my biggest takeaway of having done this experiment on myself has been how out of balance my life was. It was an all or nothing mindset, and that got me really burnt out. And I was living that way for 3 years. That's a really long time to live in that mindset. And as a woman, I realized that I was trying to live like a man. I was not honoring my femininity. I was not honoring this other half of myself who required that patience and that nurture and that rest from time to time. You know that saying, I'll sleep when I'm dead? I used to take that really seriously. So now I'm striving for balance. So for every hour of the day that I spend working now, I'm gonna have an equal hour of the day spent on rest and relaxation activities, because it's really important to me now and I cannot go back to living the way I used to. I had made a video earlier when I was at my 1 month mark of having been off of social media about my feelings about it, and I feel like I'm at such a different point now, like 2 months later from that video. Feel so much better and lighter. I feel like I was still in a very effed up place back then. I feel like I have so much more awareness and gratitude and patience for myself. I guess that's all I had to share with you. If you feel inspired to take a little break from social media after watching this video, I encourage you to do it, because it might just change your life like it did mine. It might just give you a whole new perspective that you just couldn't by being on social media. And yeah, I hope it inspires you to bring a little bit more balance into your life and to be a little bit easier on yourself. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video, and maybe hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.